So I've made changes to the items that we have yesterday. It was showing red, whatever stuff. So I have to set up the product. I now complete everything. You can see it's just three items that I just set up, and these are the setups here. So in the structure, I've moved all these images to the public section so that I don't need to start doing the import myself because I don't know where the product will be coming from. I don't know where the links of the images will be coming from. So I just put it under the public directly because with public, I told you anything that is under public, you can just use slash whatever stuff I need to, bring it out for you there, which is what I have these products. As you can see, inside these assets, I have this JS file that have the array of the products. So this is the first product. So this is the second product. This is the third product, and so forth like that. That we can complete the remaining one. But if you look at it, there is a structure for each one of them, and the structure is the same there. So I have the ID because we need this one later on to know the items that you click or that you are updating there. So this ID is needed. So I'm using this random to just generate some random. So it will generate some random number text here. It will generate another one here. But normally, if you are working with the normal API, they will send all this info to you. So you don't need to be doing all this. But in order for us to mimic that same functionality, so I'm generating this ID. So the title, as you can see, is the same title on the products are there. So if you look at it, it is this waffle whatever stuff. Where did I get all this in? It's coming from the file that is given to us. As you can see, what I'm just doing is to copy the name. So the title, this is the category, and this is the price. But I modify the price because that one now is like a dollar stuff. But I change it to naira. As you can see, this underscore is just to separate thousand in JavaScript. So it's not a must that you use this underscore. You can do it like this; it will still work. But for reading sake, it's always good that I separate the thousand by this underscore like that. So I'm just separating this is just 6,000. So that underscore is just to separate the thousand part in JavaScript. The stuff understand what is going on there, like that. So the same thing here too. And again too, we now have the images. Don't forget we have the images for desktop, we have for mobile, and we have for thumbnail. So I just think let me just put the three of them are there, and I can use anyone that I want at a particular time there. So when we get to the thumbnail, it will just fetch the images on the on the second index. So this is 0, this is 1, and this is 2. Can you see the way I'm now can you see the way I'm copying the image? So that I only specify the part of the image. And the reason it's going to work is because I put it under public. Anything that's under public, you can get it from the URL directly. And you can see I did not specify the full URL. I just say product image slash whatever the name of the image. So by the time it gets loaded on the browser will fetch it based on the current URL. And where is it going to look it for? It will look for this product image inside this public. So I don't need to start doing the import because if it is inside this asset here, you have to be doing import and do whatever stuff like that. But I don't want to go in deeper into that. I just want to mimic the way the data will be coming from the API there in a real sense. So that just put everything inside the stuff. And as you can see, I just copy the name of the file because each one of them have three. So the desktop, the mobile, even there is tablet itself. I'm not putting this one have there is tablet. So let me see. Desktop, mobile, tablet. Oh, they have tablet. So that means I need to add tablet into the stuff. So now let me just update it. So we have a tablet. So for this one, to just duplicate it, the name are the same. The part that is just different is that ending part. So this is a tablet. And for the third one too, we need to have tablets like this. I only cater for the two, but I will go back into the CSS and I will change the stuff it's going to be using when it's in the tablet mode. So close this one as there's a lot of other ones, but I only do it for like the first three products. The other one can be updated and you see that the thing will work instantly because we are looping through these products. And where am I using this? Because if you look at it, I separate this one. It's outside somewhere, which is inside this product data.js. So, and as you can see, I'm exporting it in order for me to be able to use it in another file. And where am I using it? I'm using it inside. So if you go back to the app, you see that we have the products. So if I click on this product, you know that this one now, it has the title and it has the product list. And inside this product list, as you can see, this is where I'm now using that product, which is coming from this product data. So it's fetching the product that is there. Can you see it map over them and it render this component. And what is this component? We created this into yesterday. So I've updated all the necessary stuff that we need to do. So look at it here now. I have two images. So right now I need to have another one again. But we need to cater for the tablet. So the only one I cater for here is just the desktop and the mobile. So, and if you look at it, I'm giving it a class because it's not going to show the two of them. It will only show this one when you're on the desktop screen, and it will show this one when you are on the mobile. All these things, they are coming from the CSS. So I have all the styling, and again, if you look down here, there's something I'm doing here before going to the CSS part. What's going on? VS Code. This recording stuff. So coming down here under the details, as you can see, I'm calling the category. Don't forget, I'm receiving this in as a prop. And where is the props coming from? It's coming from the product list. So as this thing is rendering the product, it will be sending each one of the product. We talk about list rendering. So that's what I do. As you can see, for each one of them, give me the product. Yeah, as you can see, it have ID, title, category, price, and images. Then I'm sending down as a props. As you can see, it will receive it as product, which I'm sending down to this side. So when this one get it, then what am I doing? I'm extracting it and taking whatever I need from it. And whatever I'm taking here is following this structure. So there is ID, title, category, price, and images. So inside this my product, I'm extracting out the images as 0. That's one is for the desktop, because I know that the first image is for desktop, the second one is for mobile, the third one now is for tablet. So if you look at it for the mobile, what this one is just to convert to a string, but it's going to convert it like a random string like that. So let me console log it out so that you can see what is coming. I think I'm even console log out the product already. So if you go back to the browser and if you go to the console, as you can see, so it's going to generate some random ID. Can you see the ID now? So that's what it's doing. It will just, by default, it will generate a number. That match.random will generate a number, but it's not number that I need. So if I use this random, can you see it will generate a number. But this is not what I want. I want to convert it to string. So that is why I'm now using math, then dot random, then dot to string like this. But I'm saying I want the string to be in base 16 or whatever stuff like that. So that's what I do. I don't even need to be, but I just want the thing to be in base 16, and it's going to give me, as you can see, that the length is quite different. So like that. So I don't want the thing to be longer. I just give me this random 16 whatever stuff like that. Or for example, yes, for those family. So I have 8, and you can see it's not giving me, because this 16 will always give me this 16 whatever stuff. And if I want, I can even remove all these decimal points like that. But I don't want to do too much because that's not the major thing here. The major thing is to arrange what we have on this page. And as you can see, on the images, I pick the 0 and the second one. So the first one, the second one, then I give it a class. But this style is very important because that's what I will use to hide any one of them based on the screen you are working on. And again, down here, I have these details. So which is the details that is showing on the screen, because if you look at it, we have the category, we have the title, and we have the price. And if you look at the price now, it's not having comma there. So that thing will not have comma by default. It's because of what I'm using there to format the number. But here, I just take the category because it's just a normal text. We have the title, then we have the price. But the price, I want to have this comma there so that it's kind of a formatted proper. Any product you see online, they have to format the product. So and how do you format? The JavaScript is giving us this international here to format different, so it can help you to format different stuff. It can help you to format phone number and a lot of things like that. But the one I want to use here is the number format. And on this number format, you can specify the type of format you want. Maybe you want to format it the way the India used to do their own. For some country, they don't use comma to separate, they use dot. So you can specify the country, the configuration for this one to display. But in Nigeria, we are using comma, and by default is US pattern. So I don't need to do any configuration at all. So once you give it a number, it will check whether it is in this thing, it is in thousand, and it will be separating it based on it. You don't need to do it yourself, it will do it for you. So if the price is in thousand, then it will separate them. For example, here now, if I go to one of them, maybe that one is in millions. So let me, or 500,000. So let me just, so I have this one like this. You can see 5 million like this, but you're expecting to have the first comma and the second comma. But it's not a must that you put this in, no. It's just for reading sake. No, it like this now is not readable. You can't, so it's not readable, but you can leave it like that, it will still work. And if I go back to the screen, let's go back to the screen. You see now, can you see separate it? So that number format, it will be looking at it and do the correct formatting for you like that. So, but I don't like this one that is jam packed together. I really love to separate them by using this underscore so that it's kind of readable. You can quickly see the thousands like that. So, but I will return this in the back to 5K because that thing is too this thing don't start again. This recording stuff use don't know why it used to do like this. So it is called. So like that. And going to the CSS now, as you can see, it's just basic styling that is going on there. So display flex, flex direction to be column. That's why the image at the top. Don't forget the product. The structure here is we have this div and we have this image div. So it will place the two of them on top of each other there. And again, if you look at it, I have the image that I'm styling there. So the container of the image, the height is just 200 on small screen. But once you get to a bigger screen, I change the height to something else. So if you scroll down, let me scroll down. What's strong like this? Jeez. So as you can see on 768, I increase the height to 320 there like that. And again, as you can see by default, the desktop on, it's not going to show. It's only the mobile that will show. But when we get to this screen, then the mobile too is not showing. It's now the desktop that is coming out. But I need to make changes to this stuff here because we need to add the tablet to it. So no, that one was not there before. So by default, this one too should be display of none. So when you get here, it should be tablet that is going to be blocked because we don't want to see the desktop here. So we should have tablets. The mobile is going to be none. Then when you get to a higher screen, so at media, screen and mean width of 1024, that's where the desktop starts from. So yeah, I want the tablet too. I don't need it. So the tablet, the display should be none, and at the same time, the desktop, the display should be blocked. That's the only thing I want to see the desktop one. So we've handled the CSS parts like that, but we don't have the tablets in our component. So in order for this thing to work, we need to duplicate this one so that we can have it too. So now this one is going to be now be 2, that it's on the third again, the class needs to be tablets like this. So save it and go back to the screen. You see that it will be switching the image based on the one we want there. So going to the tablet is going to use the tablet image, and going to the large one, then it's going to use the desktop image. So going to the mobile, since the CSS, you will not see any glitch because it's really fast. That's why I don't use JavaScript to do it. Using CSS to hide the one I don't want at a particular time like that. So, and what else did I do here? The other thing that I did is this one that placing side by side. Now, yesterday it was not like this. It was just placed on top of each other, even on a bigger screen. So I've adjusted this one too, which is coming from the container. So if you go into the container, yes, container CSS, because that's the only thing I changed. As you can see, when you go to this desktop, I'm changing the flex direction to row, which means you're going to place them side by side. But if you place them side by side like that, they are not going to cover up like this. You know, this one is not taking a lot of space compared to this one. So I have to do something too with all those items. So if you look at the stuff, inside the container, the only thing that is there is products and cards. So the products, if you look at the cards first, you see that on that same screen, I'm giving it a flex of 1. I'm using this flex start. So and why is this same? Look at it, cards. you see that the stuff is not growing past the size that I gave it. It's not coming down because by default, if you don't do this one, it will just cover up the entire space. But this is not what I want, because to look at the second one, so the one that have the highest height, other one will just follow the same, which means it is stretched by default. It will stretch them so that it's cover up. But this is not what I want. I want this one to just maintain whatever the content that is inside it. Just expand according to your content, not just based on the other items that is beside it. So if I save it here now, and go back to the screen, as you can see, it will maintain its original size that I gave it, which is this. As you can see, mean height is this 20 VH, like that. But by default, it will not respect it, because it will stretch the stuff when you display it or experience it as a flex there, like that. So, and for the other one too, which is the products, because that one too, I need to make sure that it's covered up a lot of space compared. No, this one is having flex of 1, but that one I think is having 2 point something. So where is the products? Product, yeah, this is the style for that one, and as you can see, it's having 2.5. So, and that's why you see that it's taking more space compared to this one, which means this one will be taking more than 2 self, like 2.5 of whatever this one we have. So if the parent is 300, it must take 2.5 of that 300, and this one will take 1. So it will do the ratio. So the total number is going to be 2.5 plus 1, that's 3. So that means this one will take 2.5 over 3 of the parent, while this one will take 1 over 3 of the parent. That's what is going on there. And the thing will be adjusting according to the screen size. So that's another thing too that I did with this card. As you can see on mobile, it is a 1 but when you get to tablet, it is 2, and if you get here too, it is 2. But if I go to a bigger screen, it should kind of have a 3, like that. No, let me see, expand this thing more so that I can see the other one, the actual screen. As you can see here too, is even having 2 like that, because but normally I want it to be 3. I don't want it to be 2. So I want it to be 3, and it's because of something that I'm using, because it always move the other one to the center. And what am I using there? So it's coming from the product list. You know, it's the one that is displaying the item. So under this product list for the style, so on small screen, don't do anything, just make them 1. But when you get to 768, I'm now using these grid template columns. You know, this is what you can use to specify the number of columns you want per line. But I don't want to specify the number of columns. I want it to do it for me automatically there. Like, look at the space that is there. Then make sure that it fill up the available space. And any one of them that cannot contain that space, take them to the next line. And that's what this thing is saying here. Now the number here is supposed to mention the number of line or the number of items you want per line. So here, if I remove this autofill like this and replace it with 3, and here just change it to 1 FR. So you know, from this screen, you always want it to be 3 per line. But I don't want to give it like that. I want the thing to, can you see now? It's now 3 from that line. Even if I go to that 768, it will always be 3 like this. But I don't want it to do it like this. What I want to do here is that look at the space that is there. Then, yeah, let me return it. So look at the space that is there. Keep filling that space until no other item can accommodate the remaining space. Then the remaining one that is left, move them to next line. So when you say autofill, you are not really specifying the number of items, just do it automatically. But what am I going to use to do it? Look at what I'm now using here, main max. What I'm saying is that each one of the box must have a minimum of 280. So by the time you check each one of them on that line, each one of them must have 280, 280, 280. Any one of them that cannot have this 280, take it to next line. So by the time you get to the browser, it will calculate, look at the line. So the first one is 280, the second one is 280. So it want to fit this third one to this line, but now there is no space to accommodate the stuff, then it will move it to the next line. And that's what you'll be doing. So it will check the space. It's only checking the space that is left there. So once the items that we want to put on that line is not up to 280, it will move it to the next line. That's what this 1FR is saying here, 1FR. But again too, we have 2 types of this auto here. We have auto fill and we have auto fit, which is kind of crazy like that. So depending on the number of content you have there, auto fit, sometimes they work the same way and sometimes they don't work the same way, depending on what is going on. Because that auto fill is you just have one item that's where you are going to see the difference, which I can let me see. I will show that one later. For now, let me just call this autofill because time is going there. Like that. So minimum should be, or if I want, I can just say the minimum should be 200. So which means on the line, if you have like 600, if the weight is 600, that means it's contain 3. Because we know that the minimum will be. So to make sure that each one of them have a minimum of 200, 200, 200. So now when you have 600, then it should contain 3, but it might not contain 3 because you need to put into the consideration of this gap too. Because in between each one of them, there's going to be a gap of one area, that's 16, 16 pixels. So which means that your 600 must be no, it will be here, then it will be here. Last is 32 pixels. So that means it must be around that 632 pixels. So it will be able to contain 3. And if I go back to the screen, as you can see now, because this space here now, it's more than, or no, it is 768. So since it's more than 632, it means it can accommodate 3 items on that line. But now if I change it back to what is there before, which is 280. So if it more like if you have that this 280 times 3 now, there is no way that space will accommodate the stuff. So since the space cannot accommodate the stuff, it will just distribute the remaining the space that is there in between each one of them one one. No, we say one F5. So since the other one cannot take the space, so you two that is on that line just take half of what is it. Like that. If it is 3 2, just make them that if they are taking equal space, and that's what is going on there depending on. But if you want, if you know the total number of items that's going to be per line, you can just specify the stuff just like the way we normally do it before. But I don't want to be changing it every time. So when you get to a bigger screen, just adjust the stuff. But I can see that this 280 is not, so I want to, let me try 250 because I want this thing to be 33 when we get to that 1000 this thing 440, because on a bigger screen it's actually 33 as you can see now. No, before it's not 33, but now because this space can accommodate the 3 of them, so it's now showing 33 like that. So on a bigger screen show 33. You can see I did not do anything. It will be adjusting this thing based on the spacing that you are, or the weight of the container that is there. So if the width can contain 3, it will put the 3 of them. Can contain 4, it will put the 4 of them. Can contain 5, but it will never go past 3 because I've limited this stuff to, can you see that it's not going wider again because of what we have from the design there, because this thing is not supposed to be going outside like that. It needs to have this extra space. So and this one is just my own guess. I think I use 1300 like that as a max weight, which is coming from the container. So if you go to the container, as you can see, by default the weight should be 100%, but don't go more than 1000. So the maximum one should be 1300. So if your 100% is now more than 1300, it will stop here. And again, in order for it to be at the center, it will not be at the center by default. It will just put everything to the left side, like as you can see, it will put them to the left. But we want to distribute the space between left and right, so you need to do this one so that it will move them, it will distribute that space between the left and right, not that it will just be on the right alone. And as you can see now, we have the items are there, and I don't need to start specifying, okay, on small screen have 1, on tablet have 2, on desktop have 3, and so forth. Like just adjust it based on the space that is on that laptop. So the thing will be adjusting itself according to the space, but we know that this thing will always have a minimum of what we specify at that place, so it will never go less than that. Any one of them that want to go less than that, it will move it to another line. It will never allow it to be less in than what we specify, which is this 250. So each card we maintain this minimum of this screen right from this 768 like that. By default on small screen maintain 100% because we don't need to do anything because they are just stacked on top of each other there like that. I need to turn off this thing. Jeez. All right, so let's continue because that's just the only thing I did there, just to fast track the class because there's a lot of things to be done and I can't just be wasting time on this thing. So what do we need to do now? So the next thing we need to do is to add this other one. I've not added them because uh this add to cart, this one contain a lot of things there like that. So we need to add this button, and you know that based on whether you've clicked on this or not, it will change to this item And when is it going to change to this item? The time it's going to change is when you add the item to the cart. So when you add it to the cart, by default, this value will be set to 1, and you can now increase or decrease. And if you decrease it to 0, then it will remove the item from the cart. Because once it's 0, that means you don't have anything. It needs to remove it. So those are the logic we need to work on. But first, we need to deal with the design first. And as you can see, the cart, or the card rather, is having this kind of this border. I've not added this stuff, and the only thing I just have is this one. I've not added this one. But when is it going to have this one? So when it's going to have it is when there is a product, because let me see the logic. Yeah, I think when it's having is when there is a product in the cart. Anytime there is a product in the cart, the line will always come with this stuff here. So we need to have that logic. So where are we going to be putting this our cart? But before we get to that one, let's finish our design first. We might not even get to the logic part today, but we need to deal with the design. Then again too, after we are done with the design, we'll go to the cart, we do the design down. Then later on, we now combine everything together with the logic that I just explained now. But first, let's do the design first. And this thing is the same thing, whether you're on mobile or you're on desktop. So it's still the same UI for the two of them. Even if we have something, again, there is even this one to confirm modal. So you see that it's the same thing there. And as you can see that this thing is inside that image container. It's not around everything like that. So, but before I get there, let me apply the style on all this one like that. Uh, so I love this thing. So I don't think I need to do anything with this product list for now. So let me close it so that we only focus on what we need. This product data too, I don't need it right now. What we just need is this product. But it's the major, that's where the major work is like that. So the product too, I'm not doing anything here again. So that's the only thing, just to show you what is going on with it. The same thing with the style too. I'm not doing anything with it. I'm done with that one. The cart, we are going to come back into this one later on, but let me close it right now because I'm not using it. The app too, I need to come back to this one, but the major one we want to focus on is this product here. And I want to style all this one. As you can see, I've created all the this. I've not styled it. So category, the title, and the price. We need to make sure that the styling is looking like what we have here, because currently, if you look at it, everything is just black, 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 black. But if you look at the original stuff, you see that all of them are not black. So we need to update the style. And in order for us to update the style, so let's go into the CSS. So for inside, we have this category, and I can see that this category is using a particular color there, which is coming from this index. You know, we already have all our color. So this is the advantage of variable now. We don't need to start doing copy and paste. Just call the variable and it will work. Because we know we put it inside the index, all of them will always see index. So, and to me, the color is I think is this 400. I think it's this rows 400 or 300. To be one of them. So let me try it. So this is going to be rows. Yeah, let me try this 400 and save it and change it. Let me see 600 category because I know that I'm not seeing anything. So the typing is wrong. Let me see. Let me use something that is okay, red, or let me even use green. But I want to see that it is actually changing, because so my eyes is not doing anything. Yeah, it's changing, so it's getting there. So use the rows. I think the rows should be 300. What's wrong with this? Close it now. Yeah. So let me try. Yeah, it should be with this 400. So the font weight, let me leave the font weight, color. So the font size rather should be around that. What did I use here? I use pan. Okay, it's going to be 1 rem already. Or let me just take it to around. Yeah, it should be 1 rem already. So let me do anything. Don't let me do anything with it. All this one, like just trivial stuff. It's only the color that. So apart from this, we have the title, and this one is do we have something for that? Yeah, I think is this rows 900. So the color is going to be rows 900. You are giving me wrong stuff. Rows 900, 900 like this. Yeah, but it's kind of close to black already, so it's not even look as if it changed. Then for the price now, that one it is red. So color is red. Yeah, and the font weight or font the size, font size, because the color the this in let me see 2 and it's too much. Let me look at it on mobile. Or it's even the mobile I'm checking. And let me say like this on desktop. Is it the same thing? Yeah, they're technically the same thing. So this one is too much. 1.25 should be okay. Like this. And the spacing in between them. So I need to go into these details. I did not give any spacing. So gap should be around 0.5 rem. So that's the parent. Yeah. So that's the parent. And I think it's okay for now. Like that. So we can now focus on the box itself. So this box. So we need to have this cart, add to cart button. So anytime you click on it, it will add to cart. But for now, what we just do is to create a state to switch between this one or this one. But when we are talking about the cart later on, we add the real logic. But in order for us to see that it's changing from that one to this one, so we need to use states to just mimic that this thing is changing from here to here. But what is going to happen later on is that this product is part of the cart. It's part of the cart item. So it's a part of the cart item, then and when you click on this, it will add to cart. And once you add to cart, it will check whether that thing is inside the cart. And since it's inside the cart, it will give you this design. If it's not inside the cart, it will give you the add to cart design. But in order for us to mimic that, to mimic this stuff, we just need to have a state. That state is what we do true or false to be able to switch from this or that one. So what do we need to do? So up here we need a state. So const no, show what is that self? What is this? Show quantity box set show quantity quantity box like this. By default is going to be false because add to cart is what you are going to see by default, so it's going to be false. But once you click on add to cart, it will turn this into true. So by default it will be false. And based on this now, I need to have a component down here because I don't want to jam pack them together here. So there's a lot of things already here. So I need to have a component for this add to cart, and I need to have a component for, you see that they have the same kind of a pattern, just that the what is inside them is what is different like that. So I'm going to create a separate component for it. Something we can put there, but there's a lot of things already here. So instead of me putting it there, let me just separate it. Even all this one if I want, I can just put them in their own component and just reuse the stuff. So that's what I will do. So that's what I will do because I don't want things to jam pack. So what I want to do is that the product images like this. So this is a component, and this one is expecting products, which is going to be product like this. So these product images will come down here. So const no, let me use function products images like this. So it's going to receive the props, which is going to be product, and from there it's going to return. But now what it needs to return, something is going on here. You know, your JSX, you can't return multiple elements like this. It will complain. You can only return one element. Look at it. Even though here it looks like you are returning multiple things, it's only this thing that you are returning, this div. But inside the div, you are now having all these items. In your JSX, you always return one element. You can't return multiple elements. But here now, we need to return multiple elements, not just one element. So how do we do it? So we have to give us what we call a fragment. So a fragment is just like a dummy placeholder to kind of bypass the React system of you returning one element. So this one, it can help you to return multiple elements, but to React, you are still returning one element. And how do you do that? Is by using the fragment. We have the shortcut for the fragment, or you can call it directly from React. But I will use the shortcut one. So this is what we call fragment here. So this one, as you can see, there are no complaint. So this one is going to act like a placeholder so that you can now fake to React that okay, you're actually returning
one element, but whereas you are actually returning each one of them separately. You are not, by the time you get to the UI, you are not going to see anything like this. The only thing you just see are these image. This one will never be there, but you are using it to kind of fake that returning of one element. So we have this thing called fragment, because there's sometimes there's no way you just put them in inside parent, because here now what we can do is to just create a div. But assuming the CSS we are using now, if the parent is doing flex, it will only affect the div. It will not affect all this image again. So it will not be seeing div, it will not be seeing the image. That's not what we want. We want it to still go under that div at the top here. We still want them to be under this div directly. So how do you do that? To do it, you can now use this fragment here. Another way of doing it is by calling the fragment from React itself. So as you can see, you can call the name, but this is waste of typing because you have to import it from React. Just do it like this, and it will still give you the same thing like that. So we call this thing fragment, and you always use it a lot. Anytime you need to return multiple elements, and you don't want the React to, combine them into one this thing. So like that, because with your CSS no flex, the concept there, you have container and you have item. But if you are creating a different component and you're not using it and you're not putting it correctly, the CSS will not work. So I can see now it's readable. You can quickly come here and modify whatever you need to modify. So let me save it and let us see whether it's still working. As you can see, everything is still working, because by the time it gets here, it will just put everything directly there and like that. So this fragment, you will not see it on the browser. The only thing you just see are these elements that it will be. So all of them will just be put inside this element directly. But if you put this in inside div, this one too, it will work, but it all depend on your CSS that you are using. So if the CSS allows you to do this one, then it's going to work. As you can see, it's still showing, but it has changed some structure here. I don't want it to be like that, because in case I need to do so, can you see that it changed? So because once you put div here now, that one will now be seeing that div is not seeing all this image directly. So you have to now do another styling again and I don't want to do that. So this one should just go under that container there like that. So what do we need to do? So we need another component. And what is that component going to be doing? That one now is going to be so I'm going to have another one. So function, what is that? Add to carts btn like this. All these things are supposed to put them in their own this thing. But for now, we'll just be doing it like this. Supposed to put it in their own separate file, but I'm not using them in another place again. It's just being used inside this place. So I'll just leave everything here. So what do we need? We need to return button. And inside the button, what is here? So let me bring out the design. Yeah, we have this icon, and at the same time, and not this icon already, we have them in our project. So I can import this one. So it is inside this, our assets inside the icons, which is this icon add to cart. So I need to import it on the top here. So import add to cart icon, and from where is it coming from? It's coming, go back again. Why are we like this? So assets, then icons, then from there we have this add to cart. So from there, what's wrong with you? So close this sidebar so that I have enough, and again put this space. I need more space here. Then inside this place, I just need to call my image. So inside the source, just pass the stuff like that. So all it should be add icon, in case the thing is not showing, but it's going to show. Then after that, we have this span add to carts. For this carts is C like that. So saved, nothing will happen because we are not using it yet on the screen. So where are we going to use it? And that's why I'm putting this one in its own container, because this button that I'm putting here, I need to position it absolute on this one, because you can see that it's placed on that stuff. So where are we using it? We need to use it inside this. So close the details. We need to use inside this image container. That's why I move this one into its own stuff, so that everything is not jam packed together. So down here, I can just call down my
What's that? So add to VS Code. What's all this one? Why this VS Code used to do these things sometimes? Okay, okay. But this thing needs to receive what is going on here. What did I type? Quantity. The quantity is not correct. Quantity. We need to have TI here. What's going on? What's going on? So we need to have a T like this. So this thing, this add to cart needs to receive this set. No, it needs to go. Once you click on it, it will update this thing. So we need to send this thing to it for now. But it's going to be doing something else later down. So it will receive it. So the structure the props, receive it, and anytime the button is clicked, so on click, uh, on click like this. So what is it going to do? You need to call a function. So I'm going to call the function here. So const add to cart like that, and once this function is called, to set the stuff to true like that. So copy this one, pass it here, and we are good to go. But the styling is not yet, so we need to apply the style. As you can see, the thing will not look nice, so we need to apply the style so that it looks nice the way it's supposed to be, like what we have here. But now if I click on it, it will toggle the stuff to true. Then again, we need to have a component for this one. So we need to have the component for this one. So function. So what did I want to call this one? Quantity. What's the AI suggested for me? Quantity box, or no, it can't be box. It should be buttons like this, because there are two buttons. Let me just say quantity box. So, and inside it, we are going to have these two buttons and this, because I can't just call it button because it's not just only button that is here. So inside this place, we need to return. So this one is going to be div, because it's not just one item that is there. This one, this one, this one. So we need to return div. So return div, and inside the div, inside the div, inside the div, I'm going to have two buttons. The first button is for that minus. So this one too, I think they have the image. So then you have the plus, and in between you have the span, which is not showing you the quantity. So here I will just put 3 for now. So from here, for us to see what is going on, so this one, for us to see that our button is working, but we are going to change the logic later on. So quantity like this. But for us to see that this number is changing as we are clicking on this stuff. So let us have all this one, but we are going to refactor this stuff. So const, we need to create a function that increase the quantity. And what is it going to do? It will just set that quantity by 1. Again, too, we need to have another one to decrease the quantity. So AI complete the stuff. So yes, and complete like that. So and we just need to pass them. So for this one, on click, what do you want to do? We want to decrease the quantity like this. And once you click on this one, normally if I want to do this, is just one function I will have, and I will pass with what you are doing with it. But let me just be doing this basic stuff for now, like this, what the AI is bringing. So save it, and but now we don't want to see this box until you've clicked on this button, because only one of them must come outside. So if this one is true, we want to see that box, but if it's not true, we want to see the add to cart. That means we need to conditionally render these two components. So how do we do that? We've talked about conditional listing. So what I want to do is with show quantity box. What did you want to do? This is what I want to show. But if it is not, then this is what I want to show. So we have two components, but only one of them is going to show. If this one is true, show the quantity box. But if it is not true, then show add to cart. Because both of them are the same place. So save it now. You see that we still have add to cart. But now if I click on it, as you can see, it will change. But it did not do it for this one because they are different components.
Even though they are coming from the same place, it will see them as a different. So what you are doing here will not affect what you are doing. What you are doing here too will not affect what is going on here. But we don't have our this thing, so let's import them first. All those the plus and minus icon. So let me import minus icon. Then from again, I need to go back. It's still coming from the same asset. So icon. Okay, we call it decrement. Uh, so let me just duplicate and let me change this one. I can follow, and here this one is going to be they follow the same pattern. So close this sidebar. I don't need that one again. So inside this button, you just need to have as you can see, AI is helping me already. Okay. All right. So I have these two icons. So saved. As you can see, the icon are now showing, but I cannot see this, or is it because the background are not there yet? So by the time the background comes in, it's going to work. So now we just need to start applying the CSS there like that. So I need to give this, I don't want to do too much of CSS. So only this one is what I'm going to give class, and I'm going to be selecting the other one that is inside. So styles dot what is this? What did they call it? Quantity box like this. So I will be selecting the other thing that is inside it. This is first bucket, this is the second bucket, and the last one. So for this one too, so let me give it a class. So class name. So style dot add to add btn like this. So save. Then we can now apply our CSS. So add to add btn. Go to the CSS side. I want this thing to be arranged correctly. So all the images, all those things should be together. The details should go down because it's come before the details. So add to cart btn, and at the same time, the AI is even know what is going on. Button should be no, don't do that. So again, add to cart, and the other one, which is the quantity, because both of them needs to be positioned as a quantity box like this. Both of them needs to be positioned as absolute. Huh? I not call it BTN, no, I can't call it BTN. It's not BTN, it is box. It is box. But I use the same name of the component. So quantity box, both of them needs to be positioned as absolute. Then the bottom should be zero, like that. And the reason it's working is because I've already positioned that one as relative. So if I don't position it as relative, it will be doing something else, but it will take it to some as the because that's why it's going to the bottom of that parent. But I don't want it to be zero because on the UI it's not actually zero. It is it's coming down a little bit at the center of the stuff. So let me just use maybe this 1 rem, but 1 rem will go up. So I want it to come down like that. So by the time we apply some other thing, they will come in. So the left should be 50% because I want it to be at the center. But it's only taking the left. It's only taking the left to the center. As you can see, it's not the center of the box. So we need to return it back so that the center of the box will not be at the center. So we need to transform. What's wrong with the AI? It cannot come outside. Complete the rest now. Yeah, translate y or translate x rather. So minus 50, and as you can see, it will now move the box to the center. So we need to work on this one now. That's the generic. That's the generic. No, everything it will be display of flex. And both of them are actually flex. So the styling, because I don't want to type this in again and again. So AIC align item center like this. So the gap should be around that 0.5 rem. So any one of them that I need to modify, I will go into it to each one of them and modify what I need to do. Yes, what was all this one?
So by default, I don't like that background that is here. So background should be transparent. Border should be none. Border radius, because both of them are having the same thing, should be around this 3 rem because it's off. Then there's a padding there. So padding top and bottom 0.75 rem, 1 rem. I don't know what is there, so I'm just using some random value like that. So we need to have box shadow because as you can see on the design itself, oh, it's having line. Oh. It's having line, it's having line, having line. I can't remove that line. So I can't, let me just remove it like that for now. So I will now apply the other one. So come down here. So this add to cart btn, the border should be 1 pixels and solid rows. I think rows, it can be this 900. 900 is too dark. Ah no, it's 900. Or let me try 500 first. Rows 500. Like this. Yeah, you can see it is 500. Like that. So why is the width? So the width should be, because I did not specify waiting they go on here. What's this one? Transparent. But I'm not supposed to see background. And then from here, or I don't even need to specify it here. So each one of you specify your background that you want. Background should be this rows. Where is it? I think it's this rows 100. Rows 100. So rows 100 like this. Come on, it's almost time. Yeah. So the width, the color, what is the color that is it? I think it's 900. By default, everything should just have all the text on the screen. By default, should have this 900. Let me just do it from here directly. So the color should be rows 900 like this. Then the image that is here. So add to that the image. That thing is too big. I don't know the width, so I'll just guess. Since I don't have yeah, I think this one should be okay. So let me just use what the AI is bringing there like that. So, and again, to this thing should be cursor pointer. All our button by default should have a cursor of pointer. So let me make it as a generic setting. Cursor should be pointer because I don't want to be doing it every time. It's a generic stuff. So going back to the styling, and I think this one is okay for now. Like that. What did I use? What was the padding? Left and right. Let me use 1.5 to have more padding on left and right. So the font size, what is the font size? The font size should be 1 rem, I think. It's not 1 rem by default. 1 rem, yeah. So like that. And once you click on it, it should kind of change to the other one. I don't want it to change for the, because now both of them are not showing the same thing. So the top one is for add to cart. The second one is for us to see the design for that one. So now let's work on the design for this one too. Like that. So what we just need to do is to select that one too. So come down. What was the name? What did you do? The quantity box. So this one background is that red. Background is red. Color should be white. Like this. Then minimum width of this thing should be around that. Let me say 150 pixels. Have a minimum width of this. So I want it to space the content. So justify content space between. So this one will be here. This one will be at the center. The other one will be on the other side like this. So to distribute the spacing. Then I can talk to all these button that is inside it. So the quantity, then the button. So all this one, the height, the border should be 1 pixel solid white. That's what is there. Yeah, it is there like that. Border radius should be 50%, but in order for it to turn to cycle, the height and the width should needs to be the same. 50 pixels. Let me try out this one. So too much. Too much. Yes, I don't want to be typing these two value every day. So the size, let me just create a variable 20, and I'll just use the variable instead of typing the stuff every time. I'll only change it once. So size. So save it, and yeah, no, 25. I think it is okay. So the background color should be transparent. We don't need any color inside. What's wrong with this minus? All this image, they're just expanding in there. So the quantity box, the button, the image. So the object fit should be contained. Don't just expand anyhow like this. Yeah. I did not have any padding inside the box. So padding should be around that 0.5 rem. Not too much, 0.25 rem. I think it is okay like this. But we don't have more space on the left and the right side, so let me remove that spacing. Because if we look at our spacing here, it assuming it is 1 point whatever stuff, so there is a hard to add I need it. Its own spacing is different. The top and bottom are the same, but the left and the right are not the same. But this one have more space on left and right, but this one did not. So I need to reduce its own left and right. So which means down here, where is it set? Where is the quantity box? So padding 0.5 rem, 0.75 rem, then left and right. So let me just try this 0.75 for the two of them. Yeah, I think it's for the width. I said let me use 180. But yeah, I think it's okay like this. This text is too small, so let's talk to that one too. Which is going to be this quantity box that is span inside it. So the font size, let me try this 2 rem. I don't know, it's too much. 1.25 rem. Yeah, the font weight needs to be put. Font weight needs to be, I think 500 should be okay. Yeah. So now if you click on minus, it will go to 0. If you click on plus, because we've handled that one already, like this. So for you click on add to cart, it will change. So when it goes to 0, it will be nice that we reverse. So we need to receive this thing just to mimic the stuff. So we need to receive that one too needs to receive this set whatever stuff. So I can change it and we'll do the conditional stuff. So here too, let's receive it. So that we can see that the logic for this thing is working to toggle the stuff. So where is our quantity box? So we need to receive this one. Then we need to check. We can't just set like that. So const value should just be whatever that is inside the quantity before -1. So if value is equals to 0 like this, so what we want to do is to call this one and set it to false. Yes, then we update the stuff with that value. So remove all this one. I'm doing something else. So this is not where I'm supposed to call this stuff. I'm supposed to call it inside the decrement. So I say I'm doing minus inside increment. So this is wrong. Let me just quickly copy this stuff. Return all this back to the way it is. This is not where it's supposed to be. So this is where it's supposed to have the stuff. So remove -1 first, so that we need to check whether it is 0. If it is 0, do what we need to do. If it is not, then just set the value. I don't need to do this one. If it's not 0, that means you are around that maybe 1 or 2, whatever stuff. As long as you've not gotten to 0, as you are decreasing, it's going down. So if you've not gotten to 0, just update it. But if you've gotten to 0, it will go back to that add to cart. And anytime you go to the add to cart, you're supposed to set the value to 1 by default. Yeah, I think that's what we did. Yeah, we set the 1 by default. So
You can see now it is 12, so if I decrease it, and once you enter 0 like this, let's go back. Add, it will be 1. Increase, decrease. Once you go to 0 like this, but this is not the actual stuff. Oh. This is just to see what we are going to be doing later on. Because you know it will be adding to cart there. So cart needs to be aware of what is going on here. So as you're increasing the value here, it will be increasing the value too in the cart. And you know they are not in the same place. So we need to talk about how to handle this thing by using the state management there. So I need to talk about what is use context and what is use with user, but we are not going to start with that method. We are going to use the method we know before. We are going to lift up our state into this app so that the app can distribute to products and it can distribute to ads. But when you are working on a big project, it's only possible that these two might be together like this. It can be in different places and you still need to give them the same thing. How do you handle that? That's where the state management will now comes in. But to our own application here now, we can see them together. So we are going to create the state here, the card state, and some other state that we need will be here. So that state now we can now send down to any one of them that need it and can update anything that needs to update. But on a big project is not going to be like that. So that's how this thing work like that. So yes, this is where I'm going to stop. Like that. Expand, expand video. So let me stop the video. More.